I'm Jane. Thank you so much for joining us today. All right, these are just some thoughts and concepts that I genuinely feel like we should have been taught in school. Instead, we were taught basically how to read and regurgitate information back, but not really how to think or problem solve or basic things that would help us in our adult lives, right, as we go through life. And I'm reading notes, honestly, because I'm just incredibly uncomfortable in front of a camera, and yet here we are. Yay! Okay, so I am by no means saying that I know everything when it comes to finance. Please don't take it that way, all right? That is not what this is about. This is just sharing some concepts and principles that that we just want to share with you, right? And you do not have to agree with everything I am going to say. Lord knows my husband does not agree with everything that I say, right? But I hope that through these videos, you'll find that it really doesn't take that much. I'm hoping that it will take a lot of the mystery out of the financial world, okay? And if you think about it, you will spend approximately 90,000 hours in your lifetime accumulating money, trying to build wealth. How 90,000 hours? Because that's basically 40 hours a week times 50 weeks a year times 45 years, right? So 90,000 hours. But the average person will spend less than 10 hours in their lifetime studying or learning how to make this money that they are working so hard to accumulate work for them. And so study the things that you want in life. Study the things. So if you want money, then you should study money, right? So I'm just sharing with you some of the things that we've learned from our past, from the mistakes that we've made and the holes that we have dug ourselves in, and the principles that we use to get ourselves out. So back in 2008, and some of you are too young, you don't know, but you can Google this. This was a thing that happened. But there was a real estate bubble, and then the bubble burst. And when it was all said and done, we owed $80,000 in credit card debt. $80,000 in credit card debt, right? I might still have a twitch, if I say it one more time. But it was not because we bought a bunch of stuff. It was not because we lived beyond our means. It was pretty much because we were a bit foolhardy and young and eager, and we were just trying to make something happen in real estate. And yeah, we overextended ourselves, bought real estate on credit cards basically, and we paid it all back. Every penny, paid it all back and all off, interest and all. And we did it through the principles that I'm going to share here. So we're going to make a series of short videos that will maybe help you in your financial journey, plan for success instead of failure, or just hoping that things are going to work out. Because hope is there and hope is wonderful, but hope is not a plan. All right. There's a lot of half-truths out there, which, you know, if you take these half-truths, like these things that float around as absolute truths, then in 20 or 30 or 40 years, you may not be where you want to be in life financially because you followed them. So I'm going to give you an example. Like when someone says, it's okay, you're going to be in a lower tax bracket in the future when you retire and you get older. How many of you have heard that? I feel like I hear that all the time, right? And if I think about it, if you think about it, do you want to be in a lower tax bracket in the future? Because that would mean you have failed. That would mean I have failed financially, right? To be in a lower tax bracket. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to pay more money in taxes, but they're saying that you're going to make less money in retirement, and they want you to look forward to that. People can barely pay their bills on what they're making right now. How is it a positive thing to be making less money in retirement? It doesn't make sense, right? So if you think about that, that really doesn't make sense. So The first thing I feel is really important to say or clarify when it comes to money is that poverty and wealth, it comes from a mindset. So follow me here. I know this might sound a little hokey, but poverty and wealth comes from the way that we think about money. Unfortunately, it is not the money itself that makes you wealthy. Just again, follow me through this train of thought, okay? It is not the money itself that makes you wealthy, and it's not the lack of money that makes you poor. It's the way that we think about money, because the way that we think about money affects how we act when it comes to money. So that's why you hear so many stories of people who win the lottery and they end up more broke. They end up worse off than before they won $1 million, $20 million. How is that possible, right? Except that the money itself does not make you wealthy. It made them rich temporarily, but not wealthy. So because money is the way that we think, it is usually why wealthy people will raise wealthy children, middle class people will raise middle class children, and poor people will typically raise poor children. It's not because they're passing money down or the lack of money being passed down. It's really the way that they're thinking about money that is being passed down. Okay, so whether we like it or not, we have the amount of money that we can mentally and emotionally handle. And that's why it is so important to always continue to expand and grow your knowledge and to grow different thought processes about handling money. Okay, so a key principle, like the principle, the point of this video, okay, is to pay yourself first. And I know most people, their initial thought is, I can barely pay my bills right now. How am I supposed to pay myself first? I know. But unfortunately, the sad thing is, if you cannot pay yourself first, then, like right now, then you'll never pay yourself first. Like you'll never be first in your life, in your priorities, right? So if you pay all your bills and you pay everyone else first, then you'll never have the money to pay yourself first. There will never be anything left over. So you have to put aside 10% every single time you get paid. Put 10% aside, okay? Most people, you will find, well, I don't want to say most people, I think everyone will find that you are able to continue living even after you put the 10% aside first. Success is not normal. I know this is supposed to be kind of encouraging, and I promise it will be, but success is not normal. If it were, more people would be successful, right? So if you want to live an abnormal life, then you have to make different decisions and you have to take different actions than the average person around you, right? So that would be the first step. Ideally, you would start with 10%, okay? Whether you get paid every day, every week, every other week, you get paid per job, however it is that you get paid, every single time you get paid, you should put 10% aside, okay? It can be like a game, right? You can put it in a separate account and you'll gain momentum and you'll start to see it grow and you'll start to feel some excitement because you actually have money, right? If you genuinely feel like you cannot do 10%, then do 5%. Do something. I mean, but try to do 10%, okay? It's the habit of starting that's really also a key, right? So that's why you don't want to do it once a month or once in a whatever. You want to do it every time. You find $1, right? You find, put 10 cents away. You find a quarter, put 2 cents, put 3 cents away, right? I know you think it sounds funny, but it's the habit. So if you do it every single time, it'll cause a trigger, okay? We did this, we paid ourselves first, the 10%, even when we had all of the credit card debt, we still did that. So you want to do this until you have 3 months to 6 months, depending on what your comfort level is, right, of your expenses aside, like your bare minimum expenses aside, okay? There is a statistic that says that 60%, that's 60% of America, if they had a unexpected $400 bill, new tires, new something that had to happen, then their accounts would go in the red. Their accounts would go negative. 60%, right? So don't be a statistic. But we all have to start somewhere. So wouldn't it be an amazing, euphoric feeling, right? If, you needed something like new tires and you actually had the money for it and you didn't have to freak out about it. So this concept of putting 10% aside also kind of works for like your petty cash, like your flexible spending, And what if you could also put 10% aside for birthdays or graduations or Christmas, because most of those things happen every year, right? Like you shouldn't be surprised that Christmas happens in December, But what if you could also put aside money there so that way you're not maxing out a credit card in December buying stuff, But that's kind of another video. But 10% aside, okay? Pay yourself first. You can do this, all right? If you start right now, if you just got paid, right? Put 10% into a separate account, into a shoebox. I know it sounds small. I get that it sounds like it's not this overly dramatic thing that you have to do, but can we be grateful that it's small? And all because it's small does not mean it doesn't work, right? So I think we can be grateful that something so simple and small can be the huge beginning to our road to financial independence and financial literacy and financial freedom. So I thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to talking with you again soon.